Please welcome Barb Ponella!
Where'd everyone go? I'm driving in my car, and I'm driving with my 17-year-old daughter, who is on the autism spectrum, and she has developmental delays, and I am exhausted because she is talking incessantly, which is normally what she does, but the conversation today is a little bit different than normally. Evelyn makes sense out of the world by memorizing lists of things and then repeating them over and over and over again. So usually the lists have to do with TV shows because she loves TV shows. Her favorite is I Love Lucy. Oh. And I Love Lucy. She loves that, I think, because she's on the spectrum. Usually emotions are very difficult for her to understand, but Lucy is right out there with all of her emotions. So if she's sad, she's crying out loud, right? Wah, Ricky. If she's happy, she's jumping up and down. If she's upset about something, she calls Ethel and tells her about it, right? So Evelyn likes that, I think, because it's not confusing, it's direct, it's clear, it's to the point. So normally, Evelyn will just go through the list of episodes. Hey, Ma, she'll say, do you know what season 1, episode 1 is? And I'll say, no, Evelyn, I do not. And she'll say, you don't know? And I said, nope. And she said, the girls want to go to a nightclub, duh. And then she says, how about season 1, episode 2? And I say, no, be a pal. And I say, oh, okay. And how about, and on it goes through 6 seasons, 180 episodes. However, I wish that was the conversation we were having in the car today, because today we're having a much different list where she has memorized an online catalog of adult toys in preparation for today's mother-daughter outing to an adult store, which, hear me out, has been necessary, okay? It has come to my attention that she is using things that could be damaging to, let's say, relax. So I've had to remove hairbrushes, remote controls, and action figures from Evelyn's room. And please don't ask me how I made this uncomfortable discovery that she was using these things to masturbate with, but I will never look at Tommy the Power Ranger in the same way again. So, it's very uncomfortable for me to be taking on this chore of bringing Evelyn to the adult store because, one, in my mind, and also in Evelyn's, she's about 10 or 11 years old, though her body is quite assuredly 17. And the other reason is because my own mother, the way she handled the first time seeing me hold hands with Steve Thompson when I was 12 years old, was to put a pamphlet on my bed that night that read, "The dangers of heavy petting," which clearly she saved from her own childhood in the 1940s. And the pamphlet, I'm just realizing that the pamphlet, I spoke with my mom just a couple days ago about in preparation for the show, and my mom is 86 years old now, and I said, "Hey, Ma, where did you get this pamphlet from?" And she said it was from the vestibule of St. Thomas More. So, which explains that it had nothing to do with STDs or getting pregnant. No, the dangers of heavy petting showed these two cartoon girls whispering to each other about the third cartoon girl walking down the hall. And so one hand-holding episode with Steve Thompson resulted in my mother and the Catholic Church slut-shaming me. So now I'm taking my daughter to an adult store to buy a dildo. And she is going on and on and on with her list as we're walking into the store, and she's saying it like it's some sort of like wish list for Bad Santa. Like, I want anal beads, and I want Benoit balls and butt plugs. And I'm maneuvering her to the wall of dildos. And when she looks up, she goes silent. She stops talking for the first time in her life. She has nothing to say. And in her defense, looking at a wall full of penises of every shape, size, color, and contour is quite debilitating. And it also occurs to me that she's probably never seen a penis in real life. And now she's looking at all these disembodied penises wrapped in plastic and probably wondering where the rest of the person is. So, as we're standing there, a sales girl about the age of my daughter comes walking over, and she says, "Hi, can I help you ladies?" As if she's about to fit us for a new pair of shoes. So I hope that this is going to get Evelyn to start talking again, because my whole reason for bringing Evelyn to the store was so that I wouldn't have to say anything, because Evelyn is bold and brazen and uninhibited, and I figured she'd just walk in that store and get what she needed, and we'd be gone, and I'd never have to say a word. But she is still silent. So now I have to step up to the plate and be the mom and speak to this sales girl. And I say, "What's your best seller?" And so she says, "Well, it depends on what you're looking for." And she starts to describe some of the benefits of each of the different types of dildos that we're looking at. And I'm looking at Evelyn to see if this is getting any kind of response from her, but it is not. She is just staring at the wall. And I said, "Evelyn, do you want one that looks like a penis?" And she said, no, I do not." I said, okay, so that narrowed the selection down quite a bit. So now we're looking at these other dildos that just look, nondescript, really. And the sales girl starts to now direct her attention to Evelyn, and realizing that she's the customer. And she says, "Would you want one that vibrates?" And I said, "Well, I don't know if we need that, because I don't want to hear when this is happening." And the sales girl says, no. She says, "They're completely silent." And then for some reason, I have a senior citizen moment. And I say, "Well, in my day, they sounded just like a jackhammer." To which the sales girl politely smiles and continues to talk to Evelyn. And she starts to describe to Evelyn exactly what the vibrator can do and clitoral stimulation. And Evelyn, that sounds pretty good to her, she says. So Evelyn and, she's still not talking, but the woman is, kind of, trying to get her interested. So finally I said, Evelyn, why don't you just pick one? Is there anything here that you want? And she just shrugs her shoulders. And I said, Evelyn, just which one? Pick one. Nothing. And then I said, Evelyn, which one do you think Lucy Ricardo would pick? And Evelyn reaches out and picks the exact one that I know, had Lucy Ricardo been given the choice, she would have picked this pink, sleek, vibrating bullet because it is feminine, it is straightforward, and unadorned, just like Evelyn and Lucy. So she starts to walk over to the register, the sales girl, and we're following her. And she starts to talk to Evelyn about, what kind of batteries she's going to need for this. She says, you'll need AAA batteries. And Evelyn says, I use AAA batteries in my remote control. And she says, yeah, just like that. And then Evelyn says, what about anal beads? And I said, why don't you just master this first? We'll come back another time for that. So the woman starts to, she says to Evelyn, would you like to take, this out? And I'll, put the batteries in. I'll show you how to turn it on and off, how to work it. And Evelyn says, okay. So she's doing that, and she's describing to Evelyn how to use it and how to clean it, the importance of keeping it clean. And as we're all standing there, the three of us, it occurs to me that this is the way that women should be talking about sex. And forever banished from my mind were those two whispering cartoon girls.